Okay, we call this Around the Movie Block with The Rock. Our movie review with Rocco Passafume.
Thank you very much, Howie. The movie I have for you this week is another big movie that's been out since Thanksgiving. Is Ralph Breaks the Internet. It is directed by Rich Moore and Phil Johnston. It takes place 6 years after the events of Wreck-It Ralph, where video game characters Ralph and Vanellope, now friends, discover a Wi-Fi router in their arcade, leading them to a new adventure. Usually, when it comes to sequels, I usually feel like sometimes sequels are are just simply ways for for film studios to try to come up with another movie off of something that was already established through the previous movie. So they're not, I tend to not always think of them as quite as imaginative as the movie before. It's usually a safer bet because it's something the public has a familiarity with already. But what I like about this particular movie is the fact that, it has what I think makes a really good sequel, is the fact that it actually expands on the original and it gives people a real reason to see this that maybe, probably didn't feel that Wreck-It Ralph was their favorite movie or was only just like a good movie, not like anything like saying, oh, I want to see what happens to these guys. But what I like about this movie is the fact that it really expands on the whole story. It expands on the world of the original movie. The original movie was like a riff on video games, but this movie riffs around the internet and how the internet has changed the way we communicate with one another. I think that gives it a rife amount of possibilities that are added to this story that were not in the original movie. Like things that are touched upon in terms of how it's changed, the social world, how it's changed, just the whole dynamics of how we live. And, like I said, it gives the an added layer to the story that, for people who, may have thought that Wreck-It Ralph was just about a bunch of, video games, which is like a more niche interest. I think this will definitely give a much bigger audience something to enjoy with this movie, beyond just children. We have great voice actors in this movie. John C. Reilly and Sarah Silverman are great chemistry. They play Ralph and Vanellope. We have some new actors in this movie, Gal Gadot and Taraji P. Henson, who add to the the characters that already populate this movie. So, but like I said, the fact that it incorporates aspects of the internet subculture and how much that, in many ways has already, impacted our world so much. It's just a very creative way of kind of, bringing this to our world to, through entertainment. I think that, like I said, people who may not have thought much of Wreck-It Ralph will enjoy Ralph Breaks the Internet even more. I think even if you haven't seen the first movie, I think there's much that people will enjoy about this movie. I'm not going to spoil it for everybody, because there's a lot of real cool nuggets that are in this movie that I think people will enjoy very, very much, including one that harkens to one of the very foundations of Disney's long history, so I'll just put it at that. But I think obviously this will be not only a great sequel, but a great movie that I think that, people, not just kids, but adults, particularly very savvy pop culture, savvy adults will appreciate very much. And I give Ralph Breaks the Internet 4 out of 5 stars. So thank you very much.
Halftime Howie here, time to sign off from Ponchos. And once again, we went almost 2 hours, and what a riveting show. We had a couple of really great panels that led the way tonight. Our good friend Jackie Shelley returned from Alabama and spoke from the heart about the loss of her son to suicide. Daniel, and she was joined on the panel by Mayor Manchin Brandon Ellis, and it was a riveting panel on suicide prevention. And again, folks, anyone out there, we can't stress enough, if you're going through a hard time, depression, anxiety, you reached a low, the hotlines, 24 hours, are always there, so always reach out. But that was a really riveting segment. Another segment that was really quite enjoyable. We didn't have 1, we didn't have 2, we didn't have 3, but we had 4 SpongeBob fanatics sharing in their love of SpongeBob, and they all did a great job paying tribute to the late Stephen Hillenburg, who passed away at 57 years old, and Rocco Passafume, Brandon Ellis, Mayor Minch, and Richard Kaplan all reflected on why they love SpongeBob. And I think they did SpongeBob very proud tonight, no doubt about it. And we're also joined by a special guest, Joe Satriano, who is a great guy. He runs the Susan Satriano Foundation, and we'll be having our holiday combination Hanukkah, Christmas, and New Year's party at Joe's house in Oceanside on December 22nd. So that's going to be awesome. And our staff did a great job. Our new member, Candace King, spoke from the heart, reflected on some of her experiences. Brandon Ellis did 2 great segments, one on science fiction, the other one on music and Hit Factory, so those are great. Richard Kaplan reflected on an amazing story about recovering the pieces of a plane 76 years later on his aviation report. Mayor Minch pointed out that there's more than great pizza in Long Beach. You can go a little down Lido Boulevard and find some great pizza in Port Lookout as well. Maybe you want to run there and get that pizza right now. So that was a really good segment. And Rocco, once again, he gave 4 stars to a movie. So all our regulars were cooking tonight. So it was another great show. And we thank all our friends for over 3,100 likes on Facebook. And we hope you enjoy this segment. And to all our Jewish friends out there, enjoy your Hanukkah. Hope you get a lot of presents. And we'll be back here next week. But with that, I must say goodbye. My name is Halftime. I want to thank you for your time. Please join us next Sunday night edition of Halftime. But at this time, we are out of time. See you next Sunday.